Good evening. I thank the Lord for this opportunity and also the program committee for giving me another platform. This evening I would like to talk about potential basing on 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 12. Potentiality. Have you discovered this quality in you yet? Believe me or not, you have a potential in you to do something great. 1 Timothy was written by Paul to his co-worker Timothy. During this time, the church in Ephesus was struggling with a problem. There were false teachers in the church, so Paul was highly concerned about this issue. But he was not around during that time. So he gave the in charge to his trusted co-worker Timothy. Timothy was a young, faithful fellow, and that is why Paul trusted him so much that he knew Timothy will be able to handle the situation that is happening in the church. Paul knew that Timothy would become a great leader and would make a difference in the church through teaching and preaching. Our generation, millennial, is much more smarter and advanced and knowledgeable than our parents' generation, the baby boomers. No doubt that the baby boomers have more life experience. But truth be told, millennials are smarter. However, no matter how smart or knowledgeable our generation is, it is never easy to correct and teach the older generation. For me personally, I feel as though I am unworthy to correct my parents on any matter, and also I think that they will not take my advice just because I am their daughter. Just like that, Timothy was a young man in his mid-30s. During that time, he was considered young regardless of his age. So for a person who was as young as Timothy with little ministry experience, he must have felt unworthy or nervous to teach and to correct the church. He may have thought that the church would not listen to him if he stands to preach the word of God. I know many young people, including the old as well, who have stage fright. My siblings can talk all day long, but when they are asked to, when they have to say something up on the stage, they fumble. Then there are some who think that they are not smart enough to raise an opinion for the fear of being laughed at. We all have our fright, and that is okay. In the same way, Timothy must have felt the way when he was asked to take charge of the issue rising in the church. However, Paul was an encourager. He did not only leave Timothy behind to take care of the issue, but he also encouraged and lifted his spirit through letters. In verse 12, Paul wrote, "Do not let anybody look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity." This means that age does not determine the influence we make. Old or young, a teenager or a 40-year-old, anybody can set an example. It is up to us if we want to set a good or a bad example. As Paul encouraged Timothy in verse 12, I will also encourage all of us to do the same thing differently. Do not let the inner you look down on yourself, but set an example in everything that you do. Sometimes, but I am still young. become a stumbling block for every opportunity you have to a step closer to success or a step closer to confidence. Sometimes it is you and me who stop us from growing spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and not them. God gave us gifts. If you have time, please read 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verses 4 to 11. It is written that the Spirit of God has given each of us gifts. So if God has already given us gifts, then it is our duty to discover and utilize those God-given gifts. Maybe you love writing, reading, merchandising, making art, or even cooking. Realize that whatever you love doing is your gift. This pandemic is making us feel tired. We are tired of hearing the news. We are tired of hearing the list of do's and don'ts. And we are tired of doing nothing at home. But I tell you, this is the best time to discover what you really love to do. I see some of our church members updating in their WhatsApp statuses about their achievements. Some update their read on their favorite book, some update their carpentry work, and some have already started business, and many more. I am truly encouraged by their enthusiasm and them making the best out of this pandemic. I have also started gardening, and it has now become my passion. So this pandemic, do not look down on yourself, but use your hobby to your advantage and be an influence. And one thing you must also understand is that gifts do not always come in big sizes, but it is in the small things that we do every day. So if you are yet to discover your talent or gift, then pray about it. That is all you have to do. And when you find one, use that gift or talent to do good to people and glorify the Lord. God has created everybody into potential beings. Remember to find yours and create a ripple today.